Naked Shamanism. Welcome to With Insights Radio. I'm your host, Iggy Garcia. I will take you on a journey across the universe through shamanism, metaphysical, and holistic. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. To Iggy Garcia Live. Of course, I'm Iggy Garcia, your host here on WithInsightsRadio.com. So today I just want to welcome you guys to hang out with me for a little bit. On Friday I was supposed to do a show, but I got sidetracked with some things that I had to take care of. But it's all good. We're all back on track now. So I just wanted to light our candle like we always do before our show starts. This candle just to give thanks to our ancestors and give thanks to those who've come before us and trailblazing the ground and trailblazing our lives and creating things that we need to get us to where we need to be. And then, the rest is on us. The rest is on us. The rest is on what we do with our lives. They did their part, and now we're doing our part. And as we do our part, sometimes we fall short, and sometimes we hit the mark, and that's life. Life is like that. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. So this is a candle to giving thanks to all those people. It's a lot of people when you think about it. All right, and we also like to burn a little sage. I apologize, my nose has a little tickle in it, so there we go. Lighting. I love it. Burn a little sage. Hey Sherry, how you doing? Thanks for plugging in, checking in. So I just wanted to touch base with everybody, just kind of let you know what's been going on in my world, in my neck of the woods, and what's happening in Iggylandia. So it's been 7 days. I started this new journey where I'm working on the aspects of my physicality and just trying to get better, and trying to watch what I eat and eating meat products right now. And I'm just trying to turn down just the different I'm doing in my life right now, because right now I'm trying to turn down that consumption of that we do with meat, eating meat or vegetables or whatever, depending on what you do. I find that I'm working on my body, working on the aspects of me. Andy, good to see you. It's good to be here. Thank you, brother. You can smell the sage good. Smells great. Here, I'll give you some. There you go, right on top of you. Right all over you there. So I decided to challenge myself. I decided to challenge myself to do something, and I do this a lot. I challenge myself to a lot of things, and they don't always work. Myself to become disciplined in one aspect of my life. And I'm thinking, what could I do to discipline my life? What could I do to a personal goal for me to achieve? And so I tried to not eat meat for the 35 days of Lent. Actually, for me, it was it's less than that, because I didn't start on the Wednesday. I started on the weekend. But regardless of however I started it. And that was my goal, is to continue. And I've been in situations where I had to make decisions if I was going to eat meat or not. People are like, I won't tell anybody. You can go ahead and eat it. You can cheat. No, because if I take some meat and I miss a day, it's like, and I didn't want to do that. And so basically what I did, I said, I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to tell myself that I'm not going to do it. It's not a big deal. It's just a choice in life, like we make in life, when we want to be and we want to do certain things. So I decided that the goal for me was to get healthy, to get better. Now I need to include the exercise component to that. I need to include the physicality part. I'm right now working on the concept of the mental aspect of myself, the disciplinary part of myself, to honor and respect, the animals and the creatures that give their lives every day to us. I know for a lot of people, a cow's a cow, a sheep's a sheep, it's just part of human nature and what we do. But you really have to think about what we're doing here and what we're consuming here. And I'm not here to change anybody's mind to be vegetarian, because that's not my goal either. I'm not trying to become a vegetarian or vegan. That's not what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm just trying to take a little break from consuming, flesh into my body. I'd rather take the flesh of the vegetables and breads and nuts or whatever. And time, will I go back to meat? Most likely, yes. But, I thought there the other day, and I was thinking, we don't really bless our food. We really don't give, we don't, have a ritual to give thanks to these animals. And some of us pray, some of us don't. Some of us don't give a crap, so it doesn't really matter. Some of you probably listen to this show and go, who cares? It's just a cow, or whatever. Well, sure, it's just a cow. But just the sheer fact of how they have to go through life in order to sustain our lives, that they're born into this captivity of sorts, to feed us and be, and don't take it wrong, because I'm not knocking meat eaters, because I'm a meat eater too. But it's also, I just want us to think a little bit about what is happening in this situation, what's going on, what is our body. And it's not that we this in a farm if we lived on it. It's just remembering and giving thanks to something that's laid down its life to sustain us. And not to get biblical, not to get, roly-holy about, we are the dominant species and God has endowed us, whatever. You believe what you want to believe. I'm just here to remind you that, these creatures that we eat are living creatures, and they do feel pain, they do hurt, they do cry. And, and if, when you take a bullet to the head or you get clonked in the head, it hurts and you die. But, so I just wanted to remember them and honor them, and give thanks to them for getting me to this part in my life to where I'm at. So that's why there's more an honor and respect in giving thanks to these sentient creatures, these animals that sometimes don't have a voice for themselves. Even think about escaping. I don't even know what, and just at a time them. And there's a part of me that says, hey, I need to thank these animals for, and a lot of you know me, some don't, but I'm very thankful, and I have a sacred contract. Remind me that contract with the things that they eat, because I was raised that way. We gave thanks and we prayed over our food, and we honored that this pig or this cow or chicken, its life was to eat. So it's just a choice, for 30 days, and I can do, for 30 days you can do anything, and so that's what I chose to do for this Lent. Yes, I was raised Catholic. I still hold on to some of the beliefs of Catholicism, and because I'm still Christian. I still believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in God and all those beautiful things that come with that. The stories verbatim, and do I believe that they happen exactly how they say? I don't know. I have an imagination. I'm sure there was a little more in depth and more in detail about how someone's life is, because I know how my life is. And set in phrases and it's happened, how the things work out. So that's basically what I've been doing for the last 7 days. And it's not been hard. And I realize that, I don't need as much, so the thing that I'm completely missing out is that I am not exercising as much as I used to. And that's where I need to pick up. That's where I need to work on the exercising my mind, exercising my spirit, my soul, just everything, all the components work together. Will Iggy become a vegetarian? Most likely not. I hate to report that to everybody. Those of you who have hope that I may never eat meat again, I don't think that's going to happen. Just because the way I was raised, the majority of the food that we cook, Latin American style cooking, there's a lot of meat products that are involved in the consumption and cooking of meat. So yeah, it's not because I understand what it means to be in ceremony with something other than myself, to be in ceremony with my food, to be in ceremony. But when we acknowledge it, then it becomes part of us and becomes part of our ritual, becomes part of our belief. So guys, it's not the end of the world. And I know a lot of people who I've talked to who do the work that I do or similar work. They're kind of like, well, if you eat meat and you eat something with a face, then you can't be in alignment with blah blah blah. That's somebody else's projection, someone else's belief onto me about something, about how they see the world and how they experience the world. And I find that in life, a lot of people do that because they learned it from somebody else or somebody else learned it from them. And it's a tradition that's passed down. And so if you are a meat eater and you're a holistic or metaphysical person, it doesn't make you less spiritual because you're eating meat. No, it doesn't. Because most spiritual people, most people who are in the metaphysics, holistic, or some type of spiritual work, they understand that when they eat something, when they're consuming something that was living, be it plant, be it an animal, that you honor that animal in Jewish traditions, and they have kosher meats. There's a big process to bless the animal they're going to eat. So in kosher foods and halal meat, there's a big process that's involved. There's a big ceremony that happens. You don't see it and you may not witness it, but there's a lot that happens. And same way with our lives. We are not less or more because we believe differently. We have our ideas, we have our beliefs, and that's how we move through life. That's how we move through it. And sometimes we hit the mark and sometimes we don't. And I was talking about that earlier with my family members, because yesterday I went with my son. We went to Michigan. We had some things we had to do with soccer and stuff, and my son and I went, and he did his thing, I did my thing, and I took pictures and filmed him a little bit, and it was a lot of fun to be with him in his journey and to see him grow up and do the things that he's doing now. Excuse me. Clear my throat there. And so I was really excited for him. I was very excited for his accomplishments and watched my son grow from a little baby all the way up to a 30-year-old man, and the things that he still is able to do. And also to him to realize that he is now aging. He's now becoming a more mature man. His body is changing. His mind is changing. His feelings are changing. His emotions are changing. And it kind of wakes you up, and it kind of gets you going. Oh my God! Wait a minute, something's. There's a transformation, and that's the thing. Every stages in life we transform. We move into these different phases of ourselves. One time we're in our single-digit numbers, and then we move into our teen numbers, and then we move into the young adult phases. Then we move into older adult. Then we go into 30s, 40s. 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90 if we're lucky to get there. So, that's where I'm in my 50 stages, moving towards my 60s now. So I'm 54. And, I never thought I'd get to 54. Now, there was never really a goal in my life to get to 54. But here I am. I'm at 54, and, my train of thought is completely different than when I was 20, 30. I understand the things in your body, the things that happen to you emotionally, spiritually, and physically. You start to gain weight, you start to lose weight, you start to go through this transformation of sorts. Your body starts to become different. It starts to do different things that you probably never excuse me. Forgot to bring my water with me. So I do apologize for me coughing like that. Just trying to clear my throat. I had Indian food before that, and I think it's just I didn't drink enough liquids with my food. But yeah, my point is this, that what I'm trying to get at is, as we progress through life, we change or we don't change. And there are people who believe that you do change, and there are people who believe that you don't change at all. The only thing that changes is just your outlook on life and how things are, and you're just pretty much the same person, but it's not, you know. It's something that's just, you're just in a place where you see the world differently. So it was interesting when I was with my son. And so we're in the car, and we went to this restaurant yesterday. It was called Sushi Moto. It's just a little Japanese, Korean sushi bar restaurant. Because we were looking for something to eat. And I said, Dad, I got to get something to eat. And he's like, yeah, there's pizza, blah, blah, blah. And I go, and there's a sushi place. It's 5 minutes right there. And I'm like, so we decided to go to the sushi place. And, you know, and it was a good choice. We got good sushi. You know, I got a vegetarian style sushi, a vegetarian tempura, a salad, a hot tea, and I was delightfully happy, and he was happy. And we put it on Instagram, and the people who own the restaurant were happy that we put it on Instagram. And so they called us influencers, and it was really neat. You know, it was kind of a funny thing. Oh, you got a lot of people on your site, you know. So these are the things that you learn as you progress. But here's the thing about life. Here's the interesting thing about life that we learned last night. We were going back to Columbus, Ohio, right? So we typed in his address to navigate ourselves back. And lo and behold, we didn't know what was going to happen next, but it happened. And I even typed it in my GPS, the address. And we were on our way. So it takes us down Route 69, and we're driving and driving and driving and driving. Probably drove for probably a good 2 hours driving, and then we hit the Indiana border. And I'm going, why are we in Indiana? And kept driving, and then pulled off to the road to get gas. I was going to get something to drink, and couldn't find the gas station because the way you had to back around this road and come back. And then I got back on the freeway and went to the next exit. And then I start to notice it says Purdue, Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana. So when I got back in the car and I go, Dante, check your GPS. What's it say? It says da-da-da-da-da Columbus. And I go, check mine. He goes, this is da-da-da-da Columbus. It said, open up the screen wider. It says Columbus, Indiana. Okay? So this whole time we are driving to his address. There's the same address to his house in Columbus, Indiana. And the whole time we were driving to Columbus, Indiana. Okay? Because it's late, we're tired. And, you know, the whole time we thought we were going back to Columbus, Ohio. But we were actually going to Columbus, Indiana, which I didn't even know there was a Columbus, Indiana until last night. I found out there's a Columbus, Indiana. And if we would have driven an hour more and not even really thought about it, and I don't know why, at some point in the trip I said, we're going the wrong way. And, you know, we laughed so hard. We pulled over to the next rest stop, and we recalibrated our phones again. And again, it put Columbus, Indiana. It just wanted us to go to Columbus, Indiana for I don't know what reason. We had to manually forcing Columbus, Ohio into it. And, you know, we finally got it locked in, and we had to go back a different route. We had to go through, you know, Lima, Ohio to Russell's Point, Indian Lake. We ended up, we had to cut through Logan County. We had to come back to the back because that was the shortest route to get us. So we were probably another hour, 2 hours maybe? And make the story short, I didn't get home till like 4:30 and wasn't in bed till 5, and then I didn't wake up until like 1:30 this afternoon. That's how tired and exhausted I was. But the story was just so powerful to me because it was like the universe took us on this grand adventure to this other place that was a parallel of the other Columbus that we're from, and, you know, which wasn't even our home per se. And, we just laughed so hard because we were going the wrong way, and we just trusted and we just believed enough that we were going to get home. And it was my mom's anniversary of her passing, her 3 year of passing. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe she was protecting us. Maybe she was guiding us a different direction, because if we went the normal way that we usually would go, maybe there was an accident, maybe there was something, maybe we hit a deer. We don't know. Everything's speculation at this point. Everything is just, whatever you think might happen. We were supposed to go that way for some reason, because Spirit wanted us to go that way, because we made an error, because we weren't thorough enough to push it in. Whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to think it was. But regardless of what it was, that's what ended up happening. That's what Dante and I ended up doing. We ended up going the complete opposite way to a whole different world. And you talk about Mandela effects, you talk about parallel universes, universes like that for a while. I felt like, we felt like we were going home. And Route 69 felt really comfortable when we were driving down it and didn't question it too much. And that's what I thought was really interesting. That was we drove 69. I figured, well, I don't know Michigan very well. So I figured, well, maybe 69 is going to tie us into this route to this route, so we'll swing into it somehow. And that's what I was hoping. That's what I was thinking was going to happen. And that's not what happened. But yeah, we had a grand adventure. And the cool thing about it is we ended up coming back through Logan County, which is where his mom's from, and where his grandparents are from, and we just reminiscing about things, about my mom, my dad, and the emotions and feelings that came with that. And and I'm thinking how many times I drove that road on Route 33 to get to Bell Fountain restaurant when I had my restaurant, and when we had both restaurants open, and how we'd drive down and come back, and it was not such a big deal. There was a lot of memories that coursed through my mind at that time. Thought about a lot of things, give thanks about a lot of things, and some things you just don't even want to remember. Some things are like, man, I don't even remember that. And so it was quite an adventure to travel that road with your son, not knowing where we're going to end up. We ended up getting home, obviously, because I'm here in my studio. And so, I find that sometimes we just have to ride the wave and give thanks to what is given to us in that moment. To be in that moment, that's what I had to experience. In that moment, that was just what I had to just allow happen, because it was happening. It was nothing that I could really do. It was nothing that I could just say, hey, I'm going to change it. No, it was just that. And so, we finally, we were pulling into Columbus, and we're like, man, that was weird, Dad. He was just like, how did we end up doing that? We checked our phones. Trust me, we literally checked our phones, and it's just like, I think it just Siri or whoever just assumed that we were from Columbus, Indiana. And so, that's where it was taking us back to that area. And we both laughed because we couldn't believe that there was the same address, same street, at another town called Columbus. And I thought that was like, wow, that's pretty cool. How that is just like, what are the chances of that, What are the chances? It was just hilarious, It was just like, I just couldn't understand why that was happening at the time. But that was meant to be. It was the journey for us. That was the journey for our experience. We were supposed to experience that, and I was okay with that. In that slight moment, to excite about experiencing that. You can, and you flow with the flow, you go with the flow, because sometimes you don't have control of those things. It's just one of those things that just happens, and you just have to allow it to happen. There's just some things that are just out of your control, and What was I going to do? What would it cost me? What could I possibly accomplish being pissed off, mad, and angry because we were going the wrong way? My biggest concern was I wanted to get us home safely, that I wanted to get my son home safely. That was my goal. And, we had an excellent time. We had a good bonding session. We had a good time to share our thoughts, our feelings, and emotions about, how life has been for all of us, how life has treated all of us, and how we are just growing, and how the things we're letting go and things that we're keeping and hanging on to. So that was the journey. And then I finally got home, and you know what? And I was thinking about it, how life is when you're so tired and exhausted that you don't even know you're so tired and exhausted. You just know that you're tired and exhausted. And then, you think about how the end of your life is going to be like, where you're just so tired and exhausted you just can't give anymore. And the only thing that I remember in that moment is just laying on my bed, giving thanks that I had my bed, giving thanks that I had that to experience what I needed to experience. I closed my eyes. I don't remember closing my eyes. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't remember closing my eyes. I just remember waking up around 1:15ish, so at that point. By the time I got out of bed, it was 1:30, and I didn't know it was even that late. It's because I got home so late. I was 5 o'clock in the morning when I was getting ready for bed, when I just ready to lay down. And I know I dreamt, but my point was, when we close our eyes for the final time someday, will we remember that? Maybe, maybe not. Will we remember when we reopen them again in our new life, in our new world? Probably. But it was just that simple. It was just that easy. And I was in so much peace in that time that when I laid down to go to sleep, it was complete. The day was complete. It was over. That was whatever I needed to accomplish that day was done. And the rest of it was now my body to repair itself and recover and do what it has to do naturally and get back into its rhythm. And I'm a little bit out of rhythm right now because my body has not. I went from 6 in the morning and all the way to 5 a.m. So I haven't really slept that period to that period. It's almost like taking a whole day and then half of a day and half of the night, didn't sleep. So my body's a little out of sync right now. So, but the last thing I remember was just saying goodnight, thank you, and prayers to my mom, and then I woke up. And I know I dreamt because I remember I was dreaming, I just don't remember what I was dreaming about. But anyhow, it was just like, and then the day was kind of over. It was kind of like, it started and it was over all at the same time, because just the way the progression happened, it was like, we watched the Buckeye game and then it was over. It was like, had dinner and it was done. And then I decided to come on the air to share my experience because it was so profound and powerful to me. It was something that I thought I needed to share and to log and document and share with you. So I know that a lot of us are going through a lot of stuff right now. We're going through a lot of changes, going through a lot of upheaval. We're going through a lot of nuances and things that are in our lives that are challenging us, things that we weren't comfortable in doing and now we have to do because of. And a lot of us are moving into that space now where we're getting new jobs, we're getting new relationships, we're getting new friendships, and March 20th is the first day of spring. So the first day of March is tomorrow. So we are beginning to move into a new energy. And I wanted to share something with you because some of you will agree, some of you may disagree, and some of you may be indifferent about this. So I'm having a conversation with Fuse about how people listen to astrologers or people like myself or readers or whatever, and they give them a read, and then they say, well, follow the stars, and they really buy into what the stars say and what people say and the voices they hear per se, and instead of logically really trying to figure out exactly what's going on, they buy into this story so deeply and so profoundly that their bodies and minds and spirits start to go towards that energy, starts going towards that it starts to hyper focus on those. Well, if you're doing this or that, or you're this house is in that house and blah blah blah, then before, if you didn't know anything about astrology, you were just going through life and just kind of working through it and progressing through it and dredging through it, and and then when someone explains to you the things that are happening, you're like, oh yeah, I know. But I think sometimes we try to create relationships and we try to create matches with people, and then someone else gives us information to add to that, and they're like, well, I'm not compatible with this person or that person because they're this or that. I really believe that people just have to create their own compatibility with somebody. Like, if you really want to get along with somebody, to create. That isn't something that the stars and the planets and retrogrades and stuff do. Yeah, all that stuff may affect you to some degree, but you still have choice in the end to make the decision to say, no, I don't believe it. I'm going to go this way. But it also may be well, maybe it does affect. But I really believe that people start to buy into this energetic stuff. They start to believe stuff when people tell them stuff. When I give people reading, and I want them to be able to change their reading, change their destiny, change their forecast of what they feel, what they see, versus from what I see. I'm only seeing, take your eye and just take a little pinhole like this and just read whatever's in front of you. That's kind of what a read is like. You see one thing in the chart, you see one thing in the universe that stands out. There's a bunch of other stuff around it. But when we hyper focus on one energetic pool, that takes us there. So if you believe that someone says, oh, your husband's going to do this, or you're going to have this, or that's going to happen to you. Well, of course, when someone puts that sphere influence on you and tells you, and they believe you because you have a connection to spirit, and you're very powerful, healers, when you work with people. Give people the opportunity to change and reformat, recycle, and create their own belief systems, even when you see something that looks a certain way. Because in the universe, there are thousands, gazillions of outcomes that can change in someone's life. They can change the decision makings of their life. But if you hyper focus that that's what it is because that's what's going on, then that's where your energy follows intent. The intention will go right there and hyper focus on that. And that's what happens to a lot of people when they come to people like myself or astrologers or readers or psychics or whatever. They hang on to the last word and they hinge on that. They grab it and then they make it real and make it. As healers, we have a responsibility also to let people know that they have the capability to rewrite their story about their life, to experience the things that are going to be can be completely different from what is being told and what's being forecasted. We have, as healers, we have a grand opportunity to help people help themselves create new worlds about themselves. But sometimes we're so caught in our own ego traps that we don't even know we're in our ego traps, that we get like, no, that's what's going to happen. That's what I see. That's what the universe says. That's what the cards say. That's how I drew them. I shuffled them 30 times and it came out the exact same way. Remember, healers also can project onto the energy as well. As much as they don't want to, as much as they want to be clear, and as much as they've asked to be the hollow bone, you're still a human being. There's parts of you that are magnetic, energetic, and that are when you attach another human being, that energy, you create a little mini subconductor of energy that comes together and like magnets attach. Everybody who's in your life, you've attracted, good and bad. Hate to report that to you, but it's true. Now here's the rub. Do you just believe what I just said? That everybody that you attract in your life, you've attracted? There's a part of you that believes yes, and there's a part of you that says, Iggy, shut the hell. That guy's just crazy, Iggy. That guy's just nuts. I don't know, how could I attract that nutty guy in your life? Well, I'm sure you had moments of nuttiness too. None of us have not been not nutty at one time or another. My point is this. We are like a light, and when we shine, what do we attract? We attract things that like light. The dark likes light. Don't think that it's scared of the light. No, it wants to be part of it because it is part of it. The light is the shadows. The light is the darkness. When the light turns on, it creates shadows. It creates places of darkness. When the light goes out, everything becomes dark. Is the light just out because of the dark? It all plays a vital point. So what I'm telling you today is when you work with people like myself, or you work with healers or shamans, witches, psychics, mediums, understand that they're connecting to one part of a story, a universal story about your life. Okay, they're connecting to one piece and part of your story. It's not etched in stone. You have free will. You have the choice to say no. You have the choice to manifest and recreate your life. Okay? Because if you didn't have that, you wouldn't be able to survive. You wouldn't be able to be you. You would be whoever they want you to be. So when you ask, hey, Iggy, can you read for me? And then you do the complete opposite, right? Does that mean that you were right, or does it mean that you were wrong? No. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that you have the choice to do something different from what you experienced, because you're working from experience. You're working from all the information that you gather or know how to gather in your brain and putting it forward. Everybody does that. Every human being does that. Every human being knows exactly what they can or cannot manifest, because every human being knows what it would take to create that manifestation in that creation they want to create. Every human being, the work they would have to put in to get what they truly wanted in life. The question is everybody willing to do that work? Are you willing to do that work? Are you willing to do the sacrifice, the things that you believe that you have to sacrifice to get what you do? A lot of people are not willing to do or give up certain things, certain comforts, things that they think they have to give up. Now, I'm here to tell you do you really have to give up anything to obtain what you need to obtain? Is it just part of the system that just kind of creates that and says, well, you have to sacrifice in order to receive it, because if you don't sacrifice, you don't know how to keep it. You don't know how to appreciate it. There are people who, and I don't call them lucky, because you make your luck. You work out when you decide to do something and you've worked and you've put blood, sweat, and tears into it, or you've actually made it happen because you just were willing to do it. That's not luck, man. That's your ambition. That's your desire, your drive. Okay? You made your luck. You created your luck. Luck is not something that just falls in your hands. When something falls in your hands, you're there. It's because you were there at the right moment, not because it was just falling out of the sky. That place, and there you were. You met that person because you decided to go there, not because, oh, well, I'm lucky I met this person today. No. We put so much emphasis on luck, because then the next time we look for luck, we can't find it. Oh, I guess I'm not lucky today. Guess I'm not. I don't know. I was just one of those times. No, it's not. Okay, because luck is just a word that people use when they think they have somebody else has something that you wish you had. Not necessarily what they have, but what you wish you would have been able to obtain. That's what it's about. So as you move through life, things just seem to, because they believe that it's going to happen. Some people just have that magic that just runs in their system. They expect it. There are people who expect things to happen to them. There are people who expect life to hand them good things. There are also people who expect the worst out of life. There are people who, no, if I do that, I might just have to work, or I might just have to fail. You know, I know all these people. You know all these people. You're those people. I'm those people. We go through the gamut. We go through the feelings, the emotions of that. You know? But that's okay. That's what we're supposed to do. We're humans. We're supposed to experiment. We're supposed to struggle. We're supposed to, right? Are we? I guess somebody said we had to. But the struggle struggles don't have to be bad. The struggles can mold us, make us, break us, condition us, prepare us, regardless of what we're doing. So anyways, we went off the topic a little bit. But anyhow, just saying, just let's, the gratitude, the gratefulness for what we have, those little things, they go a long way. They go a long way, much more than you think, much more than you can imagine. And sometimes we get hit with a bunch of stuff that just doesn't feel good, and it challenges us. And sometimes we're just not ready for the challenge. We're not ready for that feeling and those emotions and those things that come with that. And so it's not that we don't want it. It's not that we were not prepared. It's just not what we wanted. And then when we get these things happen to us, how we act is super important too. Do we just fall apart? Do we pull it all together? Or is it a combination of both? It really, time will tell, and time will determine what happens to us. But in the meantime, just do the best you can. Just hang on to whatever you need to hang on. Let go whatever you need to let go. And when I say let go, it doesn't mean that you have to let go of it 100%. You can let go of it little by little, step by step. But either way, just believe that you can do what you need to do in this life. Now, we all have the final say in what happens in our life. We do. I mean, even to when we can't make decisions for ourselves, we still have in our mind what happens in there, what we allow to happen. And sometimes, especially when we're younger, when we have more ability to take care of ourselves and more control of what happens to our lives, this in here gets in the way. The filing cabinet gets in the way. Clear some clutter out. Move some stuff out of the space so you can have a free mind to think about stuff. Believe that the stuff that's in there just can be filed out and removed. All right. So we're like, what, 20 days away from first day of spring. I'm looking forward to that. Today was really nice. I really enjoyed that. All right, my friends. I guess that's it. That's all. I don't have any more to say tonight. But I'm glad that you tuned in and hung out with me for a little bit. Just shared a little bit about my story today, and I hope that you're getting what you want in life. I hope that you're accomplishing the things you want to accomplish. I hope that you're finding the friendships and relationships you want. And remember, we invite all kinds of energy into our lives. Start thinking about what kind of energy you like in your life, what kind of people you want in your life, what kind of person are you in other people's lives. That's probably the biggest thing. Who are you to other people? How do you fit in their life? What do you bring to them as much as they bring to you? Because you bring something to someone's life. You bring joy, peace. And if they tell you that you bring joy, peace, and love to their life, you just say, thanks for noticing. I appreciate you. Thanks. And just leave it at that. Because, even the slightest little smile that you give someone sometimes is the most powerful thing, and that's all they ever receive. That can make a difference in someone's life. That can make a difference in everybody's accomplishments in the things that they're working on. All right, everybody. I'm going to put my candle out here. Candle's out. I want to say it's good to be here, because I believe it's always good to be here. So that's what I tell myself, and I believe that. That's for me, and that works for me. I want to say Matakuyasin, Ho'oponopono, Irisikwi, what is above is below, Namaste, alright? Aho, take care of yourselves, have a rest of your week, enjoy. I will see you guys on Tuesday, and then I'll try to see you guys on Friday, and we'll keep this bowl rolling, the ball, the ball rolling. Just keep the ball rolling and keep going and keep moving with your life, and then we'll count down to spring. 19 days to spring, 18 days to spring, blah, 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 blah. As the days get warmer. Alright, guys. Good night to you. Take care of yourselves. I hope you enjoyed the show. It's always a blessing that I have this opportunity to share my feelings, my emotions with you. And I'm glad that you're able to A lot of you guys, I know you guys really well, really close. I care about what you bring to my life, and I hope that that I bring something special to your life as well. We're going to be drumming soon. We're going to have fun. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you. Go to IggyGarcia.com. Go to YouTube, Iggy Garcia, and subscribe to my YouTube page. Go to my website, my webpage at IggyGarcia.com. You can listen to the show, other shows, past shows. This is episode 131. We're counting down. We're getting more shows under our belt. I want to start putting the other shows on the show from With Insights on my show page. And with that, I want to say good night. Take care of yourself, guys. And I love you very much. Take care.